Alright, just want to throw together a quick little video of how to work on this particular Ryobi Sawzall. This model is a, what is it, a 517, P517, 18 volt cordless. I've got a lot of these different units that I like, but they all seem to have the same problem, which is they get jammed, they get clogged up, dirty, and just stop working. This one was the hardest to take apart. Most of them are pretty easy. This one's got a couple of different size screws, some different coverings, and then it's got this big rubber guard that would be a challenge to remove in one piece, so I just said fuck it and cut it. Anyway, but I wanted to save you guys some time and show you how this thing comes apart. So normally you've got you know, this guy's all together, you know, kind of looks like that, right? And so what I did is took the screws off the main body here to see how it came apart, and then this wouldn't come off because it's actually bolted to this whole housing here, which has the you know, all the gearing and everything for the actual saw, you know, saw action. This thing's magnetic, so it's pretty strong. Okay, got it. Any hoozle. So anyway, so inside of here there are 4 screws, which originally I just cut into this rubber to access them. They're T20s, and got them out. Once I got them out, I was able to get this off to expose what we got going on in here. So this guy is just the receiver for the battery, your switch, and all that stuff, and then the brushless motor housing. This was all pretty dirty, dusty, so I sprayed all this out. That's pretty self-explanatory, straightforward, but it didn't fix my problem. So the motor was still only like clicking. That's all I would get out of it, was just a click, 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 and it wouldn't do anything. So on this end, I was kind of working at it and trying to figure out, of course, still how this came off, and then I ultimately just said the hell with it, because in order to remove that, you would have to get that very tight fit rubber all the way over all of these things, and although you could try to take the pins out of these and get them to come off, you'd still have to get it up and over these. So I was like, you know what, that's a lot of fucking around. I'm just going to cut this and I'll tape it back on later. I don't care how beat up my tool gets anyway, because it's going to get beat up as I use it. So anyway, what I did is, oh yeah, when you go to pull these 2 halves apart too, there's one little 2-pin wire connector that needs to come off. That's for the LED at the front here. Also on the bottom, there's this little nylon cover for this bearing at the bottom of the whole drive assembly for this. Anyway, so once you get this guy off, you've got 4 T20 screws. Then you can lift the top off here, and then you have access to everything inside of here. Now, what I discovered my problem is even though this thing has, you know, a nice shield on the front and everything to try to limit how much crap goes in here, and it seems like everything's pretty well, you know, tightly fit, I actually had a staple. A whole motherfucking staple crammed in here up against this shit and got everything stuck and just would not let it move. And that was a physical obstruction. So once I got that out, everything was still pretty dirty. It didn't spin as freely as it should, so I lubed everything up. Now it spins nice and easy. And after I reassemble all this, I have no doubt that it'll work fine, and then I'll just throw a little electrical taper on that guy and I'm good to go. What I used to clean everything up too while I was in there, because drywall dust is kind of a killer for these things, I just used some mass airflow sense cleaner. This stuff is great for just sensitive electronics cleaning, you know, blasts it out, gets it nice and clear, and then I lubed everything up with just some silicone. You know, this stuff's good for a lot of slick needs when it comes to electronics and motors and whatnot without breaking down some of the existing grease. So anyway, just wanted to share that. Pretty straightforward. Oh, the main body here, all the screws are the same size, so you don't have to worry about which ones go where. Luckily, they're all different colors. These are T10s, so those are all one, and then you've got black ones here. These are T20s that go on this front cover plate, and then the rest of the screws that hold the body are different colors that are pretty easy to identify, and they're all T20s as well. So fairly simple piece of equipment to take apart, clean, and put back together. So hopefully this helps somebody out. Have a good one. Alright, let me just tack this video on the end of my other video just to show you guys real quick. Post surgery here. This guy's all good to go. Everything still works, lights up. It's got that nice smooth brushless action, and then full bore works fine. And just showing you guys where I made my cut. I cut right along here, and then that little adjustment for the amount of wobble the blade has, that is, I just covered it up. I just left it on the the tightest setting because I'm like, fuck it, I don't need to have the blade flopping around all that much. It doesn't change anything that much. Anyway, so the cut goes around these things and around that, and then I just use some large electrical tape this guy up. It folds underneath the logos and stuff like that, so it actually covers up quite nicely and feels fine. And then I used some standard size electrical tape, did a few rounds of it around the end here to cover that up. And in retrospect, if you're thinking about cutting this off to open this up to fix it yourself, don't cut this part. Just cut around this, cut across the back here, peel it off, and then just slide it over and out. Then you'll be good to go. But yeah, no, it's actually not bad. Pretty easy to open up, pretty easy to service. Having this like this, it'd be nice to just take the tape off and get in there and grease it up if I need to, but it works perfectly fine now, so thank God for that, because I thought she was a goner. Anyway, hopefully this video helps you guys out. Have a good one.